Well, the divisional round of the NFL playoffs has wrapped up, and it was certainly an interesting week of football. A lot of new narratives, and another new coaching opportunity is now open. Yeah, this was an interesting week of football, and I'm going to recap that and grade how each playoff team did this week. The first game we'll go over is the Bills and Broncos. This was certainly a very chaotic game. The Bills could not stop turning the ball over, and the Broncos, well, you know how it is with them. Their offense occasionally shows up, and a lot of time doesn't until it's crunch time, and that's pretty much what happened here. But the Broncos had the benefit of getting a bunch of turnovers, which allowed them to get up 20-10 at halftime, and then 23-10 at the start of the third quarter. Because, yeah, the Bills just kept fumbling. Josh Allen could not stop turning the ball over. First it was James Cook, and then it was just Josh Allen 2 straight times. It looked like they finally got it together, and after the Bills managed to intercept Bo Nix, Josh Allen threw it right back to them. Fortunately, the Broncos didn't do anything with it, so the game still stayed at 23-17, which allowed the Bills to actually get back into this game. And then the fourth quarter, it was actually kind of normal for a playoff game. Both sides scored, and we ended up going to overtime, which was pretty fitting for this game, since the Broncos love making their fans have a heart attack every game. I mean, honestly, this game really should have been a blowout for the Broncos because early on, they were harassing Josh Allen. The Bills' offense couldn't get much going, and they kept turning the ball over. At 23-10, it looked like this game could be over. But then Josh Allen showed back up, locked in for about 2 quarters, and then overtime happened. The Broncos punt, which is not great. And all the Bills need to do is score any sort of points. And it looked like they would because they were driving down the field. And then we had a controversial call where Brandon Cooks goes up, gets the ball, and gets the ball ripped away from him. You can debate whether or not Brandon Cooks completed the catch, but it turned into an interception, and the Broncos finally got something together, drove down the field, and scored the game-winning field goal. The Broncos, this really should have been an S-tier game, but they had to make their fans sweat for literally no reason. And the Bills decided to fire Sean McDermott. I can't say I'm entirely surprised, but I don't know if this was the right move. If they were going to fire their coach, they should have fired their GM, Brandon Beane, as well, and clean house, because he was the one that built the flawed roster. But no, we decided to keep the GM for some reason. I mean, the Bills' job looks great, but the problem is the coaches available in this cycle aren't exactly the hot shots that were available last cycle. I'm going to put the Bills in D tier for constantly turning the ball over, but they were definitely close to winning this game despite of that. But I don't know where the Bills are going to go from here. At least they still have Josh Allen, but I don't know if the Bills are going to win a Super Bowl anytime soon. Next up, we'll talk about the 49ers versus Seahawks. This was the least interesting game of the weekend, mostly because of the result. I mean, we kind of were expecting the 49ers' luck to run out at some point. This was a bit of a sad way to go out, but it was rather predictable since we saw these two teams just a few weeks ago, and it was a somewhat similar result. I mean, the Seahawks offense did a lot less, but the defense was excellent this game. They completely shut down everything the 49ers could have wanted to do, and pretty much shut down their only remaining weapon on offense, Christian McCaffrey. Everybody else is hurt. Literally, their entire defense is out. And yeah, this was kind of the expected result. Like, when literally most of your starters are injured, you're going to have a hard time making a run in the playoffs. It wasn't entirely surprising they won last week, but if they won this game, it would have been shocking. The thing about the Seahawks is they are by far the Super Bowl favorites at this point. They are playing the best football out of any team in the playoffs right now, and this game showed it. They were dominant on both sides of the ball, even though on offense they didn't gain many yards. Reason being, you don't need to gain many yards when you have a bunch of short fields and are just putting up points no matter what you do. So I'm putting the Seahawks all the way up in S tier, and the 49ers, unfortunately, will be in F tier. This was an unfortunate way for your season to end, but it was honestly impressive they were able to get this far with their circumstances. Next up, we have the Texans versus the Patriots. An absolute disaster for the Texans. Honestly, the Patriots are not the strongest opponents in the playoffs right now. And honestly, they've had a pretty easy schedule. And it looks like that schedule will continue. I did forget to mention in the Broncos section, their win came at a cost. So they no longer have Bo Nix for the championship. And yeah, the Patriots are going to get a very easy path to the Super Bowl. The entire NFL groans. But let's get back to this game where the Texans could not stop turning the ball over. CJ Stroud, yeah, he does not look like a good quarterback right now. I know the situation he isn't ideal. The offensive line isn't good, and his number one weapon in Nico Collins was not available this game, but we can't really sit here and say he's anywhere close to being an elite quarterback. And Texans fans are hating on him a lot right now because his playoff performance so far has been awful. He's had an awful playoff performance. And he's had a not very good couple years. So, yeah, things are getting a little bit dicey with the Texans. I mean, their defense did their job in this game. The Patriots offense couldn't do much for most of the game. It was just the fact that the Texans were turning the ball over literally every drive that the Patriots were able to put up points. And in fact, going into the fourth quarter, this game was still close. And then Kayshon Boutte made a beautiful touchdown grab, and that practically put the game away because the Texans offense literally didn't do anything. CJ Stroud had an awful game. Their rushing attack was non-existent. At least their defense showed up because there were 8 total turnovers in this game. So it was sloppy from both sides, but the Patriots took advantage of most of the opportunities and went up and won this game. I'll put the Patriots in B tier. I was not exactly impressed with this performance, but they move on to the next round, so I'll give them that, and looks like they're moving on to the Super Bowl as well. Meanwhile, the Texans, I'm going to put in dumpster fire. The defense played great, but the offense put them in an impossible situation. And our last game from Divisional Weekend is the Rams versus the Bears. This was quite a good game and a surprisingly defensive affair. The Bears aren't exactly known for their great defense. Yeah, they force a lot of turnovers, but in this game, they didn't force any turnovers from the Rams. It was, in fact, the Bears constantly turning the ball over. And somehow, it was close the entire game because the Rams' offense, I have a lot of concerns about. They were not good for much of this game. They were constantly just punting the ball away. Like, literally most of their drives was punt, field goal, punt. And then they finally scored a touchdown in the fourth quarter to put them ahead. And then Caleb Williams made an incredible throw down the field to send this game to overtime. And honestly, Sean McVay kneeling with 18 seconds to go and 2 timeouts? Really? I mean, I get it. It's tough conditions, but at least take some shots down the field and win this game in regulation so you don't have to sweat it out in overtime. Because your offense has not been playing well all game. See if you can't find something. And then immediately in overtime, the Rams punt, 3 and out. And then they got lucky. Caleb Williams threw an interception. And then the offense finally woke up. They drove down the field and scored the game-winning field goal. The Rams, I worry about a lot, but it is the Seahawks, a divisional opponent, and they've played them close 2 times in a row this season, so they have a chance. I'm not going to say they don't, but I have a hard time believing the Rams will make the Super Bowl at this point because this team has not been playing well for like a month and a half. They are far from their peak earlier on in the season, and yeah, this game showed it as well. I'm going to put the Rams in C tier because this really should have been a lot of separation between these two teams, but it ended up being a lot closer than it really should have been. But the Bears, I'll also put in C tier because they put up a good fight despite turning the ball over constantly, and Caleb Williams nearly made the plays to win this game. He just ended up losing them the game in the end. And yeah, his accuracy was all over the place in this game. Both quarterbacks threw for 42 times. Both quarterbacks were not very accurate this game. I mean, I guess Matthew Stafford has an excuse because he hurt his hand last week, but Yeah, Caleb Williams can't make the easy throws, but will make the wow plays to give this team a chance. We'll see next year if Ben Johnson can further develop Caleb Williams, because we've seen the flashes this year. It's just he needs to hit that next level of consistency. Meanwhile, the Rams, like I've been saying, I worry about them. But anyways, what do you guys think of this tier list? Would you change anything about it? And if you guys enjoyed this video, please leave a like and sub. It's greatly appreciated and lets me know you guys enjoy these videos. Anyways, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.